welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ivo and welcome. Today I got this sketchbook and we are going to test it together. My regular Royal Talens sketchbook is finished and I wanted to get myself a new one. So I got myself this Seawhite of Brighton sketchbook, which is 140 GSM and has 46 papers, or 92 pages. I really like the color of the pages and also the texture. It is not very white, it is more creamy looking, which is my favorite type of paper to work with. This sketchbook also lay nice and flat. I do prefer hard-bound sketchbooks rather than soft-bound or spiral sketchbooks. And while I am still working in my Royal Talens sketchbook because it's my favorite low-pressure sketchbook, I wanted to give this one a test because it has 20 more GSM than the Royal Talens, and I also want to see how it behaves with mixed media. So the first media we are going to test would be colored pencils. I would like to see how they lay on the paper, especially wax pencils or oil pencils. And then after I'm going to see how well the paper handles water. So one thing that I noticed is that the colored pencils aren't, at least all of them, aren't really as laying as buttery like on my Royal Talens paper. So as you can see, they have some sort of, shiny little white dots shining through because it takes me a lot of pressure to fill them fully, especially this terracotta color from the Darren drawing. And I could try to fill this in this much, for example, but yeah, it would still look as heavy and as creamy as on my Royal Talens paper. And I also find it to be the same with other colored pencils like the Caran d'Ache Luminance, where you can also see a difference. And if I really wanted to lay heavy, then I really have to put pressure on the paper. Obviously, this is not a bad thing, this is just for me to know how the colored pencils would lay on this paper. While I was also writing the names of the colored pencils, I realized that I was smudging some of what I was writing, so I decided to do a smudge test to see how much this paper is smudging, because I've had a sketchbook that was smudging really badly every time I worked with graphite on it, so I really hoped that this paper isn't behaving as that old sketchbook of mine. Now on to the next and most important test for this sketchbook is how it will handle paper and how my watercolors will look like. So what I'm looking for is will the paper buckle a lot, or also when I'm going back and forth with the water, is it going to pill, and how does the watercolor look like on the paper. Some paper make my watercolor look very dull, and that is what I want to see in this one, whether the colors are going to pop or not. I also have some granulating watercolors, and well, obviously this is not a watercolor paper. I was just curious how they would look like. Okay, those are not butter cookies, those are my Neo colors. Well, you expected to see sewing kits in there? Well, guess what? Me too. Anyways, so I just wanted to test my new colors. Well, obviously, if my colored pencils do lay good on the paper, I suspect that the new colors would lay good on the paper. But I just wanted to test it, especially also by activating one of them with water. All in all, I can say the paper did handle it quite well. Still had to wait until the new color dries up, but basically, when everything was freshly wet, you can see the paper sort of buckled in a little bit. A little spoiler, later on, they didn't buckle that much anymore when everything literally fully dried. So they're still buckling, but not as much as when it was wet. So I have the feeling the paper did stretch itself back. So now I'm going to put all of those swatches that we did in a test. I will be using gouache, however, and then after I'll be using new colors and some colored pencils on top of it. Oh, as well as some acrylics. I'll put some nice music on and let you enjoy the process, and then we see each other at the end of the video. I can say that I'm pretty happy with this sketchbook. It does obviously buckle a little bit, but it's not that terrible in my opinion. It did handle the water very well, and well, I guess the time will decide if I will rebuy it or not, but so far I am very happy with this sketchbook. I hope you also enjoyed today's video and see you next time. Bye bye!